Before we can even whisper the 4 rules that will change the dynamic of your relationship, we have to look at the foundation you are standing on right now. You cannot build a skyscraper on quicksand, and you cannot build magnetic desire on a foundation of anxiety. There is a law in the universe, a law of physics that applies to gravity, to magnets, and to the human heart. That law is simple. Energy that chases repels. Energy that stays still attracts. I want you to think about the last time you felt anxious about a man. Maybe it was yesterday. Maybe it is right now. You sent a text and 3 hours have passed without a reply. What happens to your body? Your chest tightens. Your stomach drops. You check your phone again. You check his social media to see if he's active. You start drafting a follow-up message in your head, trying to sound casual. But behind that casual facade, there is a screaming need for reassurance. I want you to know something, and I want you to hear this without judging yourself. He can feel that. Even if you haven't sent the double text, even if you are sitting on your hands to stop yourself from calling him, if your energy is projected entirely onto him, waiting for him to validate your existence, he feels a psychic weight. He feels pressure. Men often describe this feeling as suffocating, even when the woman hasn't actually done anything yet. Why? Because human beings are incredibly intuitive animals. We know when we are being hunted. We know when someone wants something from us. When you are in a state of chasing, mentally or physically, you are subcommunicating a very dangerous message. You are telling him, I do not believe I am enough on my own. I need you to complete me. I need you to fill this void. To a man, this does not look like love. It looks like a job. It looks like a responsibility. And the moment a man feels that your happiness is a heavy backpack he has to carry, his instinct is to put the backpack down and step away. This is the tragedy of the good woman. You think that by being available, by checking in, by worrying, you are showing him how much you care. You think you are proving your loyalty. But in the currency of desire, you are actually devaluing your stock. Think about a diamond. Why is a diamond valuable? Is it because the diamond begs you to pick it up? Is it because the diamond follows you around the store? No. A diamond is valuable because it sits still. It is rare. It requires you to come to it. It requires an investment. When you chase, you are negotiating. You are saying, please see my value. But the prize never negotiates. The prize knows what it is worth. So the first shift we must make before we apply any rules is to stop the leak in your energy. You have to stop pouring your emotional focus into him and hoping it splashes back onto you. You have to stop chasing. When you stop chasing, you create a vacuum, a space. And nature abhors a vacuum. When you stop leaning forward, he suddenly feels the space between you. He feels the absence of that pressure. And that is the moment, the exact moment, when his curiosity wakes up. He thinks, wait, where did she go? Why isn't she seeking my approval anymore? That confusion is the spark of desire. But you cannot fake this. You cannot pretend to stop chasing while secretly obsessing. You have to actually stop. You have to understand that your anxiety is lying to you. Your anxiety tells you, if I let go, he will float away. But the truth is, if you hold on too tight, you will squeeze the life out of the connection. You must be brave enough to let go of the rope. The shift from waiting to living now that we have identified the trap of chasing, we have to talk about what you do instead. A lot of advice tells you to play hard to get. I am not telling you to do that. Playing hard to get is a game. It is a manipulation. It is you sitting on your couch, staring at the wall, counting the minutes until it is acceptable to text back. That is still chasing. It is just chasing in slow motion. I don't want you to play hard to get. I want you to be hard to get. And the only way to be hard to get is to be busy living a life that you actually love. We need to talk about the concept of availability scarcity. In economics, if a product is always on the shelf, fully stocked, and on sale every day of the year, nobody rushes to buy it. They know it will be there tomorrow. They know it will be there next week. There is no urgency. There is no fear of missing out. Many women treat their time and their attention like a clearance sale. They clear their schedule the moment he asks for a date. They drop their hobbies because he might call. They pause their entire existence just in case he decides to show up. When you do this, you are teaching him a lesson about your value. You are teaching him that your time is cheap. You are teaching him that he is the main character in your movie and you are just the supporting actress waiting for your scene. Men are drawn to women who are the protagonists of their own lives. Imagine two women. Woman A is waiting. She comes home from work and checks her phone. She watches TV, but she's distracted. She skips the gym because he said he might stop by. Her mood for the entire evening depends entirely on whether or not he contacts her. She is a satellite orbiting his planet. Now, imagine woman B. She comes home from work and she has a plan. She goes to a pottery class because she loves creating things. She meets a friend for a glass of wine and laughs so hard she forgets to check her phone for 3 hours. She reads a book that fascinates her. When he finally texts her, she sees it, smiles, and finishes her chapter before replying. She isn't ignoring him to be mean. She is simply occupied with the joy of her own life. Which woman is more magnetic? Which woman seems like a prize? Woman B has what we call high value variance. She has a world that exists outside of him. This is incredibly sexy to a man. Why? Because it means he has to earn his way into her world. It means that her happiness is self-generated, not man-generated. When you shift from waiting to living, you stop being a beggar for his attention. You become a queen inviting him into your kingdom. I want you to do an audit of your life right now. Look at your week. How much of it is structured around him? How much of it is structured around things that light you up? If the answer is mostly him, then you are in the danger zone. You are boring yourself, and eventually you will bore him. This is not about being busy just to look busy. This is about remembering who you were before you met him. Remember that girl? Remember the things she loved. Remember the dreams she had. You need to go find her. You need to resurrect her. Because here is the secret when you start falling in love with your own life again. You emit a radiance. You look different. You walk differently. You have stories to tell that aren't about him. You have an energy that says, I am having a great time over here. You can join me if you can keep up. That is the energy of the prize. It is the energy of a woman who is not waiting for permission to exist. She is already existing vividly and in full color. And that is the only kind of woman a man is afraid to lose. Preparing the soil for the 4 rules. We are almost ready to unveil the 4 rules. But there is one final mental shift, one final preparation of the soil that we must do. If you skip this step, the rules will not work. If you try to apply the techniques I am about to teach you while you are still terrified of losing him, you will fail. He will smell the fear on you. To be the woman he secretly desires, you must accept a paradox. To keep him, you must be willing to lose him. I know that sounds terrifying. I know your instinct screams, no, the whole point of this is to keep him. I don't want to lose him. But listen closely. If you are operating from a place of I cannot survive without this relationship, then you are a hostage. You are not a partner, you are a hostage to your own fear. And you cannot negotiate when you have a gun to your head. When you are terrified of losing someone, you will tolerate disrespect. You will lower your standards. You will say yes when you want to say no. You will apologize when you haven't done anything wrong. You will shrink yourself down to fit into the tiny box he has offered you. And the tragedy is, the smaller you shrink, the less he sees you. The 4 rules require courage. Rule first requires you to challenge him. You cannot do that if you are afraid he will leave the moment you disagree. Rule third requires you to set boundaries. You cannot do that if you are afraid he will walk away the moment you draw a line. You have to reach a place of deep internal radical acceptance. You have to look in the mirror and say, I love him. I want this to work. But if I have to betray myself to keep him, then the price is too high. I will be okay without him. This is not about being cold or indifferent. It is about self-preservation. It is about realizing that you are an asset. You are the catch. When you truly believe that you will be okay no matter what happens, you become dangerous in the best possible way. You become unshakable. A man can feel when a woman is no longer afraid. It changes the way he looks at her. He realizes she chooses me, but she doesn't need me. And that distinction is everything. Neediness is hay. The choice is light. Choice is sexy. So as we move into the next chapter, I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to visualize yourself standing on your own 2 feet, rooted in the earth. You are strong. You are complete. You are entering these rules not as a beggar asking for scraps, but as a woman setting the terms of engagement. You are preparing to teach him how to love you. You are preparing to show him a version of yourself that commands respect, not just affection. Are you ready to stop being the nice girl who gets taken for granted? Are you ready to become the woman he fears losing? Then let's begin. Let's unlock the first rule. Rule first. The rule of high value variance. The myth of the easygoing woman. We arrive now at the first rule. And to understand this rule, we have to destroy a lie that you have been told your entire life. Society, pop culture, and perhaps even your well-meaning friends have sold you the myth of the cool girl. You know her. She's the woman who is low maintenance. She never complains. She never demands anything. She goes with the flow. If he cancels a date, she says, no worries. If he forgets to call, she says, it's totally fine. She bends over backward to make sure she is as convenient, easy, and frictionless as possible. The logic behind this strategy seems sound, doesn't it? If I am easy to be with, he will want to be with me. If I am difficult, he will leave. But let me tell you the brutal truth about the easygoing woman she is. The woman men date while they are looking for the woman they will marry. Being easy is not a virtue in the realm of high-stakes desire. It is a lack of standards. When you are constantly agreeable, when you have no edges, no preferences, and no requirements, you become invisible. You become background noise. Think about the physics of friction. What happens when you rub two sticks together? You create friction. And what does friction create? It creates heat. It creates a spark. It creates fire. Now think about a surface that has zero friction, like ice. You slide right over it. You don't grip it. You don't connect with it. You just pass it by. When you are the cool girl who agrees with everything, you are the ice. You are removing all the friction from the relationship in an attempt to keep the peace. But in doing so, you are also extinguishing the fire. Men, especially masculine, high-quality men, do not want a woman who is a doormat. They do not want a mirror that simply reflects whatever they say. They want a woman who has substance. When you are too easy, you signal low investment. You are telling him, you don't have to do anything to keep me. I am already yours. I am a guaranteed asset. And here is the dark side of human psychology. We do not value things that are free. We do not value things that require zero effort to maintain. If you gave a man a brand new Ferrari for free, but told him you don't have to pay for it, you don't have to wash it, you don't even have to put gas in it, it will just sit there for you. He might drive it for a week, but eventually he will treat it like a rental car. He will trash it. Why? Because he has no skin in the game. But if that same man has to work for that car, if he has to save up, if he has to maintain it, if he knows that if he misses a payment, the car gets taken away, he will cherish it. He will polish it every Sunday. He will be obsessed with it. The easygoing woman is the free rental car. She is convenient, but she is replaceable. Rule first is about destroying the cool girl persona. It is about becoming a woman of high value variance. What does that mean? It means you are not a flat line. A flat line on a heart monitor means death. Life has ups and downs. Life has rhythm. A woman with high value variance is kind. Yes. She is loving. Yes. But she also has boundaries. She has opinions. She has moments where she is disappointed. She has moments where she challenges him. She is a multidimensional human being, not a two-dimensional cardboard cutout of a perfect girlfriend. The easygoing woman thinks she is being safe. She thinks she is avoiding conflict, but actually she is avoiding intimacy, because real intimacy requires two distinct people colliding. If you melt into him and become a shapeless blob of agreeableness, there is no you left to love. So the first step of rule first is to stop apologizing for having standards. Stop saying, I don't care when you do care. Stop saying it's fine when it's not fine. You are terrified that if you speak up, he will leave. But the irony is, speaking up is exactly what will make him stay. It wakes him up. It tells him, oh, she is real. She requires effort. I need to pay attention here. That is the beginning of magnetism. Implementing variance, hot and warm, never cold. Now that we have established that being easy is a trap, we have to talk about how to implement this new behavior without swinging too far in the other direction. This is where most women get it wrong. They hear don't be easy, so they decide to become difficult. They decide to be cold, distant, or mean. They start playing games like ignoring his texts for 3 days just to punish him, or starting arguments just to create drama. That is not high value variance. That is toxicity. And toxicity will repel a healthy man faster than anything else. We are not trying to be bitches. We are trying to be challenging. There is a massive difference. Think of the weather. No one likes a freezing cold winter storm that lasts for months. That is miserable. That is the cold woman, the one who is aloof, arrogant, and emotionally shut down. Men do not desire that. But no one truly respects a climate that is 75 degrees and sunny every single second of every single day. Forever. It becomes monotonous. You stop noticing the sun because it's always there. High value variance is about being warm and hot with occasional breezes of coolness when necessary. Here is the formula. Warmth is your baseline. You are kind, receptive, and feminine. Heat is your passion. It's your desire, your excitement, your intense connection. Coolness is your boundary. It is what happens when he steps out of line or fails to meet a standard. Implementing variance means you mirror reality, not his fantasy of a servant. If he takes you on a great date, you give him heat. You look him in the eye, you touch his hand, you tell him, this is amazing, I'm having the best time. You reward him with your energy. But, and this is the key, if he cancels that date last minute because he didn't plan ahead, you do not give him heat. You do not even give him warmth. You give him coolness. You don't scream. You don't cry. You simply say, that's disappointing. I was looking forward to it. I'm going to make other plans for tonight then. And then you go do something else. Do you see the difference? The easy woman would say, it's okay. We can do it whenever. Rewarding bad behavior. The toxic woman would send a paragraph-long text screaming about how he's a jerk, showing he has total emotional control over her. The high-value woman offers a variance in energy. She withdraws her warmth. She shows him that his actions have a consequence. The access to her energy is restricted. This variance keeps a man on his toes. It creates a psychological rhythm. He learns that you are not a robot set to happy mode. You are a dynamic creature who responds to his leadership. If he leads well, he gets the best version of you. If he slacks off, he gets a distant version of you. This is engaging. It is like a video game. If a video game is too easy, you quit. If it's impossible, you quit. But if it's challenging, if you have to focus to win, you become addicted. You must also have variance in your opinions. If he asks, where do you want to eat? Do not say, I don't care. Say, I'm in the mood for sushi or maybe Thai, but definitely not burgers tonight. This seems small, but it signals that you have a self. You have desires. If he talks about a movie he loves and you hate it, don't pretend to like it. Say with a playful smile, oh my God, you like that movie. That is the worst movie I've ever seen. I question your taste. Do you see what that does? It's playful, but it's a challenge. It's a pushback. It creates that friction we talked about. It makes the conversation lively. He now has to defend his taste. He has to banter with you. He is engaged. If you had just said, oh yeah, it's a cool movie, the conversation dies. Implementing variance means being unpredictable in a healthy way. He should never be 100% sure of what you are going to say or do. He should feel confident in your love, but not arrogant about your compliance. He should wake up every day knowing he has to win you over again. Not because you are insecure, but because you are a living, breathing challenge that he wants to rise to meet. The psychology of the earned reward. Let's dig deeper into the brain science of why this works. We are going to talk about dopamine and the concept of the earned reward. There was a famous experiment by a psychologist named B.F. Skinner. He put rats in a box with a lever. In scenario A, every time the rat pressed the lever, it got a pellet of food. Every single time. The rat pressed it when it was hungry, ate, and then ignored the lever. It was boring. In scenario B, the lever never gave food. The rat tried a few times, gave up, and ignored the lever. But in scenario C, this is the magic one. The lever was set to a variable ratio. Sometimes the rat pressed it and got nothing. Sometimes it got a huge feast. Sometimes it got a small snack. The rat didn't know when or how much it would get. Do you know what happened? The rat became obsessed. It pressed the lever thousands of times. It wouldn't sleep. It wouldn't stop. The unpredictability and the need to work for the reward created an addiction. Now, I'm not calling men rats, but the human male brain operates on the same dopamine pathways. We value what we have to earn. When you give a man all of your validation, all of your praise, and all of your access without him doing anything to earn it, you are scenario A. You are the lever that always gives a pellet. You become boring. He takes you for granted because his brain knows, I don't have to expend energy to get this reward. Or this is why nice guys often finish last and why good women get left. They give the reward before the work is done. The rule of high value variance taps into the psychology of the earned reward. Men are biologically wired as hunters and builders. Historically, biologically, a man feels his worth through his competence. He feels good when he solves a problem, lifts a heavy weight, or wins a competition. If you make yourself a puzzle that he has to solve, you are giving him the gift of feeling competent when he finally solves you. When you hold back your validation until he does something good, you make that validation 10 times more powerful. For example, if you tell him you are the best boyfriend in the world while he is sitting on the couch ignoring you, that compliment is worthless. It's actually destructive because you are rewarding neglect. But if you wait until he actually does something thoughtful, like fixing your car or planning a date, and then you look him in the eyes and say, you are amazing. I feel so taken care of right now. That compliment lands like a bomb. He feels a rush of dopamine. He thinks, I did that. I won that praise. And because it felt so good to earn it, he will want to do it again. He will chase that feeling of success. You are training him. You are teaching him that your love is a high value currency. This applies to your body as well. This applies to your time. If you clear your schedule for him instantly, he didn't earn your time. But if you say, I'm actually busy Tuesday and Wednesday with my painting class, but I can see you Thursday, he has to wait. He has to anticipate Thursday. And when Thursday comes, he values it more because it was a scarce resource. This is the gamification of desire. Every video game designer knows this. If the level is too easy, the player turns it off. The player needs obstacles. The player needs to feel the risk of failure in order to feel the thrill of victory. You must be the prize at the end of the level. If you are just there, waiting, available, easy, there is no game. There is no thrill. Many women are afraid to do this. They ask, but when you just find someone easier, a lazy man will. A man who just wants a temporary hookup will. And good riddance to them. You don't want those men, but a high-value man. A man with drive, a man who wants a partner. He craves the challenge. He wants to know that he is with a woman who has standards, because it proves that he is high status enough to meet them. If you are easy to get, it means any man could have you. If you are hard to earn, it means he is special because he is the one who earned you. By making him work for your affection, you are actually complimenting him. You are letting him prove he is the hero. Rule first in action. Real life scenarios. We have covered the myth and the science. Now let's get practical. How do you actually do this in real life? I want to give you 3 common scenarios and show you the difference between the easy woman and the high value variance woman. Scenario 1. The last minute hangout, it's 9 p.m. on a Friday. You haven't heard from him all day. Suddenly, your phone buzzes. It's him. Hey, what are you doing? Want to come over? The easy, anxious response. She is annoyed that he waited so long, but she's afraid to miss the chance to see him. She replies, hey, I'm just watching TV. Sure, I can be there in 20. The message, my time has no value. I was waiting for you. You can put in 0 effort and still get me. The high value variance response, she sees the text. She waits 30 minutes to reply because she is busy winding down. She replies, hey, I'm already in for the night. Face mask is on. You should have asked me earlier. Let's do something properly next week. The message, I am not a backup plan. I have a bedtime routine that is more important than your lack of planning. That I am still warm, the smiley face, the suggestion for next week. I am not rejecting you. I am rejecting the love. Effort. Scenario 2. The indecisive dinner, he asks, where do you want to go for dinner? The easy response, I don't care. Whatever you want is fine with me. The message, I am passive. I have no desires. I am putting the burden of leadership entirely on you because I'm afraid of choosing wrong. The high value variance response, I had Mexican for lunch, so no tacos. I'd love something with a good atmosphere, maybe that Italian place downtown. But if you have a better idea, surprise me. I love it when you pick. The message, I have preferences, no tacos. I have standards, good atmosphere. But I also trust your leadership. Surprise me. This is the perfect blend of challenge and submission. It gives him guidance, but leaves him the final decision to be the hero. Scenario 3. The pull away, he has been distant for a few days. His texts are short. The easy anxious response, she panics. She texts, are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Why are you being quiet? Or she double texts trying to be funny to get a reaction. The message, I am insecure. Your mood controls my mood. I am chasing you. The high value variance response, she notices the distance. She stops texting first. She focuses entirely on her own life. She posts a story of her having fun with friends. She matches his energy. If he gives 10%, she gives 10%. She waits. The message, I am a mirror. If you step back, I step back. I am not afraid of space. In this third scenario, one of 2 things will happen. A low interest man will fade away, saving you time. A high interest man will feel the silence. He will realize you aren't chasing him. He will wonder what you are doing, and he will reach out. When he finally reaches out with, hey stranger, you don't act mad. You act happy. You bring the warmth back. Hey, good to hear from you. It's been a crazy busy week. Tell me everything. This is the dance. You hold the standard, but you keep the door open for him to rise to it. Applying rule first is scary at first. It feels like you are risking the relationship. But remember, you are only risking a relationship with a man who wants a doormat. You are building a relationship with a man who wants a queen, but there is a danger here. If you are only a challenge, if you are only difficult and high standard, you become exhausting. You become a job he wants to quit. This is why rule first cannot exist alone. It must be balanced perfectly with rule second. Once you have hooked his attention with the challenge, you must make him addicted to you with the peace. Rule second, the rule of emotional sanctuary, the greatest hidden craving. Of men, if rule first was about fire, rule second is about water. We have just spent a significant amount of time talking about how to challenge a man, how to have standards, and how to be a prize that he has to work for. If you stop the video right there, you would have his respect, you would have his attention, but you wouldn't necessarily have his heart. To capture a man's heart, to make him not just want you, but need you, you must understand the single greatest hidden craving of the masculine soul. It is not sex, it is not beauty, it is not even food, it is peace. I want you to visualize the life of a typical man. From the time he is a little boy, he is told that his value comes from what he can do. He is told to be strong, to not cry, to provide, to protect, to win, to conquer. When he walks out his front door every morning, he is walking into a battlefield. Whether he is a CEO, a construction worker, or a creative, the world demands performance from him. He has to compete with other men. He has to deal with conflict. He has to keep his armor on tight just to survive the day. He is constantly being judged on his utility. Now imagine he comes home to you. If he comes home and you immediately hit him with stress, why didn't you do this? We need to talk. I'm so anxious about my boss. What happens? He realizes that the battle isn't over. He realizes he has just walked from one war zone into another. He has to keep his armor on. He has to keep his shield up. He cannot rest. But imagine if he comes home to a sanctuary. Imagine he walks through the door and the energy changes. The lights are soft. You look at him with a warm, genuine smile. You don't demand anything yet. You just let him exist. For a man, that feeling of dropping the armor is the most addictive drug on the planet. This is the secret that the other woman often knows and the wife often forgets. Why do men stray? We often think it's because of a younger body or a prettier face. But psychology tells us something different. Men often stray because they are looking for a place where they don't have to fight. They are looking for a woman who makes them feel at peace. If you can be the woman who represents his exhale, the woman he thinks of when he wants to escape the noise of the world, you become essential to his survival. This is where the magic of high-value variance comes together. If you are always peaceful, you are boring, as we discussed in Rule 1. But if you are always a challenge, you are exhausting. The magnetic woman is a master of contrast. She challenges him to be his best self, Rule 1, but she also provides the soft place for him to land when he is tired, Rule 2. She is the storm and the shelter. When you offer him emotional sanctuary, you are not being weak. You are not suppressing your own feelings forever. You are strategically creating an environment where his love for you can grow deep roots. You are teaching his nervous system that you safety. And once a man, as nervous system identifies you as his safety, he will fight the entire world to keep you. Becoming the soft place to land. So how do we build this sanctuary? How do we become the soft place to land without suppressing our own needs or becoming a fake Stepford wife? It starts with the first 10 minutes. Psychologists have found that the first 10 minutes of reconnection, when he comes home from work, or when you first meet for a date, set the tone for the entire interaction. If you greet him with a list of problems, complaints, or frantic energy, you trigger his stress response. His brain releases cortisol. He physically tightens up. He might withdraw, go to his phone, or snap at you. But if you master the first 10 minutes, you can change his entire biochemistry. When he walks in, pause what you are doing. Look him in the eyes. Smile. Give him a hug, a real one, heart to heart. Let him feel your softness. Let him smell your perfume. For those 10 minutes, do not talk about bills. Do not talk about the drama with your mother. Do not ask him to fix the sink. Just be happy he is there. Say something simple like, "Hey, handsome, I'm so glad you're home. Watch what happens to his shoulders. They will drop 2 inches. Watch his breathing. It will deepen. That is the sound of him unzipping his armor. That is the sound of him entering the sanctuary. Being a soft place to land also means creating a judgment-free zone. Men carry a lot of shame. They worry they aren't successful enough, strong enough, or good enough. They are terrified of failing. If you are the one who constantly critiques his choices, why did you drive this way? Why did you wear that shirt? You should have said this to your boss. You are adding to his shame. You become another judge in a world full of judges. The sanctuary rule says, inside these walls, you are accepted. When he tells you about a mistake he made, don't immediately jump to correct him or offer better advice. Just listen. Validate him. Say, that sounds incredibly stressful. I am sorry you had to deal with that today. You have no idea how rare that is. Most men go their whole lives without ever feeling truly heard, without judgment. If you can give him that gift, he will tell you things he has never told anyone. He will open up the deepest parts of his mind to you. This extends to your own emotional regulation. Being a sanctuary doesn't mean you never have bad days. It doesn't mean you can't be sad or angry, but it means you don't use him as your emotional punching bag. Many women treat their partners as their therapists or their dumping grounds. They unleash the chaotic storm of their day onto him the moment they see him. They think this is sharing. But to him, it feels like an attack. If you are stressed, communicate it responsibly. Instead of storming around, slamming doors, say, babe, I had a brutal day. I am feeling really drained. I just need to decompress for a bit. It's not about you. I just need some quiet. This is powerful. You are acknowledging your feelings, but you are protecting the sanctuary. You are taking responsibility for your energy. He will respect this immensely. He might even step up to help you, drawing you a bath or making dinner, because you didn't attack him with your stress. You simply informed him of it. Creating a sanctuary is about atmosphere. Is your home or your presence chaotic? Is the TV always blaring negative news? Are you always rushing? Try to slow down the tempo of your interactions. Lower your voice. Use touch to soothe him. Run your fingers through his hair when he is sitting on the couch. These small, non-sexual touches release oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Oxytocin is the chemical glue of relationships. The more oxytocin he gets from you, the more he feels at home with you. You want to anchor a specific feeling in his body, the feeling that exhaling only happens when he is with you. When he is at work, he is holding his breath. When he is with his friends, he is holding his breath. When he is with you, he breathes. That is the sanctuary. The difference between mothering and nurturing there is a trap hidden inside Rule 2, a very dangerous trap. Many women here create a sanctuary or take care of him, and they accidentally slip into a behavior that destroys sexual polarity instantly. They start mothering him. You must understand the difference between mothering and nurturing. They look similar on the surface, but energetically they are opposites. Mothering comes from a place of anxiety and control. It implies that he is incompetent. It implies that he cannot function without you. Mothering looks like picking up after him while sighing and rolling your eyes, reminding him of his appointments 3 times because you don't trust him to remember, asking, did you wear a jacket? It's cold outside. Scolding him for his eating habits. When you mother a man, you place yourself above him. You become the authority figure. And here is the brutal truth. Men do not want to sleep with their mothers. When you act like his mom, his libido shuts down. He might appreciate that you did his laundry, but he won't look at you with desire. He will feel small, controlled, and rebellious. Nurturing, on the other hand, comes from a place of love and abundance. It implies that he's a grown, capable man, but you are choosing to offer him care because you want to. Nurturing looks like making him a plate of food because you know he's hungry, not because he can't feed himself. Giving him a massage because he worked hard. Encouraging him when he is down, but letting him solve his own problem. The key distinction is trust. A mother says, here, let me do it, you'll mess it up. Distrust. A nurturer says, I know you've got this, but let me make it easier for you today. Support. The sanctuary must be a place where he feels like a king, not a child. A king needs rest. A king needs care, but a king does not need to be told to brush his teeth. If you find yourself constantly managing his life, nagging him to do chores, or treating him like a fixer-upper project, you are destroying the sanctuary. You are filling the air with the static noise of control. Stop doing things for him that he can do for himself, especially if you are doing them with resentment. Resentment is the anti-sanctuary. It poisons the air. If you stop mothering him, two things will happen. First, he might stumble a bit. He might forget an appointment. Let him. He is an adult. He needs to feel the consequences of his own life to grow. Second, he will start to see you as a lover again. He will feel the shift in energy. He will feel that you trust him to handle his business. And interestingly, when a man feels trusted, he tends to step up. When you stop treating him like a child, he starts acting like a man. So audit your behavior. Are you offering peace? Or are you offering management? Are you rubbing his back? Or are you riding his back? Be the lover. Be the nurturer. Be the soft place to land, but never ever be the mother. Transitioning from peace to power, we have now established the two pillars of the irresistible woman. You have the challenge, rule 1, the fire, the standards, the variant. You have the sanctuary, rule 2, the water, the safety, the nurturing. If you can balance these two, you are already in the top 1% of women he has ever dated. You are exciting, yet safe. You are a prize, yet a comfort. But there is a problem. If you are all sanctuary, if you are all giving, loving, nurturing, and accepting, you run the risk of being taken advantage of. Peace is a beautiful gift. But if you give peace to a man who is disrespecting you, you are not a sanctuary. You are a doormat. If you nurture a man who is treating you poorly, you are not a high-value woman. You are an enabler. This is where most kind-hearted women get their hearts broken. They pour so much love, so much understanding, and so much safe space into a man, thinking that eventually his gratitude will make him treat them right. They think, if I just love him enough, he will change. But that is not how human nature works. A sanctuary without walls is just a public park. Anyone can walk in, trash the place, and leave. To protect your sanctuary and to protect your own heart, you need a gatekeeper. You need a way to say, this piece is a privilege, not a right, and you can lose access to it. You need to know where the line is. You need to know what happens when he crosses it. You have the honey sanctuary. Now you need the sting. This leads us to the most critical, most misunderstood rule of all. The rule that turns you from a nice girl into a queen. Rule 3, the rule of the velvet rope. Why no is the most attractive. Word, we have arrived at the most difficult rule for the modern woman. This is the rule that separates the nice girl from the high-value woman. We need to talk about the power of the word no. For many of you, the word no feels dangerous. You have been conditioned to believe that your job in a relationship is to be agreeable. You think that if you say no to his request, to his behavior, to his timing, you are risking the connection. You are afraid that no creates a wall that pushes him away. But I want to offer you a completely different perspective. No does not push a man away. No tells a man where you are. Imagine you are walking in a pitch black room. You are stumbling around, hands out, trying to find your way. You feel anxious because you don't know where the walls are. You don't know the shape of the room. You don't know if you are about to fall off a ledge. Now, imagine your hand hits a solid wall. What do you feel? Do you feel rejected by the wall? No, you feel relieved. You think, okay, here is the boundary. I know where I am now. I can orient myself. A woman without boundaries is that pitch black room. When you agree to everything, when you tolerate everything, when you accept behavior, that hurts you because you are afraid to speak up. You are formless. You are a ghost. A man cannot grip a ghost. He cannot respect a ghost. Boundaries are the edges of your personality. They define your shape. They tell him, this is who I am. This is what I accept. This is what I do not accept. When you have strong boundaries, you become solid. You become real. Psychologically, men respect what they cannot easily conquer. If a man tries to push a boundary, say, he cancels a date last minute, or he speaks to you disrespectfully, and you just smile and say, it's okay, you have just told him that you have no self-respect. And here is the harsh truth. A man cannot love a woman he does not respect. He might use her. He might enjoy her company for a while, but he will never deeply desire her. He will never fear losing her, because he knows she will never leave. The word no is actually an act of high self-esteem. It signals that you are the guardian of your own experience. Think of the most exclusive club in the city. Why does everyone want to get in? Because there is a bouncer at the door. Because they say no to people who aren't on the list. Because there is a dress code. The exclusivity creates the value. If that club opened its doors and let everyone in, people in pajamas, people who were rude, people who didn't pay, it would cease to be a cool club. It would just be a crowded, messy room. You are the club. Rule 3 is about installing a bouncer at the door of your heart. When you say no to low effort behavior, you are subconsciously saying yes to your own value, and men feel that shift. When you hold a boundary, he looks at you and thinks, she values herself. She has high standards. If I want to be with her, I need to level up. No is the catalyst for his growth. It is the friction that sharpens him. So, stop being afraid of the word. Start seeing it as your most attractive accessory. The velvet rope technique. So, how do we set these boundaries? This is where most women fail. They swing between two extremes, the doormat and the fortress. The doormat lets everyone walk over her until she explodes. The fortress builds walls so high and thick that no one can get in. She is angry, defensive, and cold. Neither of these works. The doormat gets used. The fortress gets avoided. I want to teach you the concept of the velvet rope. Think of a very important person section in a high-end lounge. What separates the VIPs from the crowd? Is it a brick wall with barbed wire and machine guns? No. It is a beautiful, thick, red velvet rope. It looks elegant. It looks soft. It doesn't look angry. But it is unmovable. If you try to cross the velvet rope without permission, the security guard doesn't scream at you. He doesn't have a tantrum. He simply steps in front of you, holds up a hand, and says firmly, "I'm sorry, sir." Private event. He is polite. He is calm. But he is absolute. You are not getting in. This is exactly how a high-value woman sets boundaries. She does not need to raise her voice. She does not need to write long paragraphs explaining why she is hurt. She does not need to get sassy or rude. She simply installs the velvet rope. Let's look at a concrete example. Scenario, you have started seeing a guy. He tends to text you at 11 p.m. to hang out. You want a real relationship, not a late night hookup. The doormat response, she feels disrespected, but she replies, "Sure, come over." She betrays herself to keep him. The fortress response, she gets angry. "Are you kidding me? You only text me late at night. I'm not a booty call. Lose my number." She is reactive. She shows that he has triggered her emotional state. The velvet rope response, she doesn't reply at 11 p.m. because she is asleep or relaxing. The next morning she texts back calmly, "Hey, I saw your text. I don't do late night hangouts this early in knowing someone, but I'd love to grab dinner this week if you're free." Analyze that response. It is polite. It is warm. It leaves the door open for a real date. "I'd love to grab dinner." But the boundary is absolute. "I don't do late night hangouts." She didn't explain why, because I respect myself, etc. She just stated the rule. She didn't apologize, sorry, but she didn't attack him. She just put up the velvet rope. This is incredibly seductive to a man. It shows him that you are not desperate. It shows him that you have rules for entry into your life. If he is a player who just wanted sex, he will bounce off the rope and disappear. Good, you saved yourself time. If he is a man who is actually interested, he will think, "Wow, okay, she's not easy. I need to take her to dinner." Here is another example. Disrespectful tone. Let's say you are in a relationship and he snaps at you or speaks to you rudely because he is stressed. The fortress screams back, "Don't you talk to me like that." Now you are in a fight. The velvet rope stays calm. You look at him, silence for a beat, and say, "I can see you're stressed, but I can't continue this conversation if you speak to me like that. Let's take a break and talk when things are calmer." And then this is the most important part. You walk away. You physically remove yourself from the situation. You go to another room. You leave the house for a walk. The velvet rope is not just about what you say, it is about what you do. You remove your presence. You remove the privilege of your company. You are teaching him access to me is a privilege. If you abuse that privilege, access is revoked. You don't do this with hate. You don't do this to punish him. You do it to protect your sanctuary. Remember rule 2? You created a space of peace. If he brings toxicity into that space, you have to escort the toxicity out. The beauty of the velvet rope is that it allows you to remain feminine. You don't have to become one of the guys or aggressive to be respected. You can be soft, wearing a silk dress, speaking in a whisper, and still have boundaries of steel. That combination, soft on the outside, strong on the inside, is the definition of the woman men commit to. Training him how to treat you now. We need to talk about conditioning. This might sound unromantic, but human beings are constantly training each other on how to treat one another. every interaction. You have is a training session. There is a concept in psychology called operant conditioning. It basically says behavior that is rewarded gets repeated. Behavior that is ignored or punished gets extinguished. Most women are accidentally training their men to treat them poorly. When he ignores your text for 24 hours and then finally replies with, hey, and you immediately reply, hey baby, miss you. What did you just train him to do? You rewarded his neglect. You gave him a treat, your enthusiastic attention for ignoring you. His brain registers, I can ignore her and she will still be sweet to me. Great. When he leaves his dirty laundry on the floor, and you nag him about it, but then pick it up yourself. What did you train him to do? You trained him that if he waits long enough, you will do it. Your nagging is just background noise he has to tolerate to get the service. To apply the velvet rope, you must stop rewarding bad behavior. But here is the trick. Negative attention is still attention. If you scream, cry, nag, or write long, angry letters, you are still giving him energy. You are still investing in him to a man. Even negative attention validates that you are obsessed with him. He thinks, she's crazy, but she's crazy about me. The only thing that truly trains a man, the only thing that truly stops bad behavior is the withdrawal of attention, silence, distance, the void. If he is rude to you, you don't fight. You go silent. You become polite but distant. You give him coolness from rule 1. You stop initiating. You stop doing favors. You stop the wife duties. You create a void where your warmth used to be. He will feel this immediately. A man can ignore nagging. He cannot ignore the sudden disappearance of the warmth he is addicted to. He will wonder, what happened? Where did she go? Why does the house feel so cold? This forces him to self-reflect. It forces him to come to you to fix it. And when he does, when he apologizes, when he changes the behavior, when he steps up, you must immediately reward him. Bring back the warmth. Bring back the sanctuary. Say, thank you for apologizing. I really appreciate that. This is the cycle. Bad behavior, velvet rope, withdrawal of attention, access. Good behavior, sanctuary, warmth, appreciation, access. If you are consistent with this, you won't have to nag. You won't have to fight. He will naturally gravitate towards the behaviors that make him feel good, your warmth, and avoid the behaviors that make him feel isolated, your distance. You are not manipulating him. You are simply having a backbone. You are teaching him that you are a high-value asset that must be maintained. If you stop watering a plant, it wilts. If he stops treating you with respect, the relationship should wilt. Do not keep watering a dead plant with your tears. The fear of loss. We have reached the hardest truth of rule 3. The velvet rope is useless if it is just a bluff. You can learn the scripts, you can say the right words, you can try to pull away. But if deep down in your soul, you know that you will never actually leave him, he will know it too. Men have a sixth sense for bluffing. If you set a boundary, I won't accept being spoken to like that. But then he does it again, and you stay. Your boundary just evaporated. It became a suggestion. For the velvet rope to work, there must be a real, tangible possibility that you will walk away. This is what we call the fear of loss. Desire cannot exist without the possibility of loss. If something is guaranteed to be yours forever, no matter how badly you treat it, you stop valuing it, you stop seeing it. Many women are terrified to let a man feel the fear of loss. They think, if I pull away, he might not come after me. He might just let me go. And that is true, he might. But if he lets you go because you demanded respect, he was never yours to begin with. You have to be willing to lose the relationship to save it. When a man looks at you, he needs to see a W.